Latin America, just a stone's throw from the United States, is one of the largest and most ethnically and environmentally diverse regions on the planet. It extends from Mexico and Central America in the north, stretches along the colorful valleys that brace the Andes Mountains, and winds through the remote, steamy jungles of the Amazon. Latin America is synonymous with adventure and exploration. Its unparalleled natural beauty is breathtaking, and its spirit is extraordinary. For a region in such close proximity to the United States, the entire area could not be more culturally different. Centuries of colonization have resulted in an unlimited mix of peoples and backgrounds. A wide variety of ethnic groups, races, and ancestries from Asia, Africa, and Europe contribute to Latin America's rich visual palette. The countries that comprise this continent speak mostly Spanish and Portuguese. The Maya, Incas, and Aztecs built their great civilizations here. And Latin America's archaeological splendors are matched only by the profound significance of its biodiverse ecosystem. For example, the Amazon rainforest is home to more plant and animal species than anywhere else on Earth. And the isolated Galapagos are host to dozens of birds endemic to the islands. And wherever you go, from the vibrant fiestas and festivals to the distinctive carnivals and celebrations, you'll be rewarded with an unforgettable experience. Transportation takes on many forms in Latin America. Nothing says getting around in Havana, Cuba like this taxi, a classic Chevy. Due to trade embargoes, no American cars had been imported since the 50s. The Cubans have become master mechanics, repairing and restoring these colorful masterpieces. And they look as good as new.
Chicken buses are seen everywhere throughout Guatemala. They are all school buses from the US and Canada that have been restored.
Drivers don't make a dime until they fill their quota of daily passengers. Then anything over that quota, they keep. So they're incentivized to drive fast and pick up as many people as possible.
Living in the high altitudes makes it hard to walk up the steep streets, so these little tuk-tuks are perfect. They are also handy, squeezing through the narrow streets in the villages.
And hitching a ride in the back of a truck is common. The whole family, including women and kids, just hold on tight. Deep in the Amazon, there are no cars, and there are no roads. To get there, you can fly in a little airplane into a carved-out runway in the jungle. Then just a few steps away, your transportation awaits. The rivers are the highways, and the canoes replace cars. To protect and manage Latin America's well-preserved cultural and natural wonders, UNESCO has recognized dozens of World Heritage Sites. Los Glaciares National Park in Argentina features phenomenal glaciers that are born in the ice caps, the largest continental ice extension after Antarctica. The enormous pressure of the antique ice and the subsequent thaw have resulted in big lakes that ultimately flow into the Atlantic Ocean. UNESCO describes the Galapagos Islands as one of the most unique, scientifically important, and biologically outstanding areas on Earth.
Located off of the coast of Ecuador, the Galapagos Islands are home to some species found nowhere else on the planet.
The 18th and 19th century buildings in the Cuban city of Trinidad were built in its days of prosperity from the sugar trade. The churches of Chiloé were named World Heritage Sites because of their unique form of wooden architecture and the successful fusion of indigenous and European cultures, as well as their spiritual values. Located in the southern Patagonian icefield, you'll find Torres del Paine, one of the world's most wild and unrivaled spectacles on Earth. Its jagged granite peaks and spires, uncontaminated landscapes, and colorful glacial lakes boast several distinct ecosystems, which are home to some of the rarest birds and animals in the world. In the heart of this dense jungle lies Tikal, one of the major sites of the Mayan civilization from 600 BC to 900 AD. The ruined city, which supported 100,000 Mayan Indians, reflects the cultural evolution of Mayan society. Another city on UNESCO's list is Quito, the capital of Ecuador, which was founded in the 16th century on the ruins of an Inca community. Despite the 1917 earthquake, the city has the best preserved, least altered historic sites in Latin America. Antigua Guatemala has retained the integrity of its 16th century Spanish colonial layout. The carefully restored city remains vulnerable to natural disasters, including earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and hurricanes. And perhaps the most recognized place in all of Latin America is Machu Picchu, which is not only a World Heritage Site, but one of the 7 wonders of the world. Backyards are not necessarily confined within a white picket fence. And sometimes they come with spectacular views, like those homes overlooking Lake Atitlan in Guatemala.
Other backyards are huge pastures called estancias, where ranchers must manage enormous herds of animals.
Some of the backyards, like these in Chile, surround antique architecture. The notable Alerce shingles on these historic homes have lasted well over 100 years. That's because the durable shingles are made from the Alerce tree, which has unusual characteristics that allow the shingles to repel water and resist decomposition. In some fishing villages, the waterfront is the backyard of those who live in these palafitos, which are homes built on stilts to protect them from flooding. Here in Peru, the narrow streets and alleys serve as their backyard. They also connect homes, shops, and residents. Those who live in communities that adjoin the ocean, like here in Orinoco, Nicaragua, enjoy their natural organic backyards.
In the Amazon, many live deep in the rainforest, hundreds of miles from the nearest city.
Their backyards are common spaces for those who live in the tight-knit villages. And the animals have backyards too. This Guanaco family in Chile is celebrating its new baby. This little guy is only 5 minutes old and hasn't learned how to stand yet. But he must soon. In the Galapagos, these lazy sea lions are lapping up the sun in their backyard. And in the far southern tip of South America, these penguins and a couple of flightless steamer ducks are in their backyard, about to take a dip into the cold, cold water.
Penguins can live up to 30 years and always come back to the place where they were born for the mating season.
And some people have little space around them to call their backyard. Economic hardships exist for far too many people throughout Latin America. Many of the jobs throughout Latin America are related in some fashion to agriculture. This man is selling his fruit at a market in Havana. The poster on the wall honors Che Guevara, who in 1959 led the infamous revolution that overthrew the government. This woman tends to her fruits and vegetables in Peru, which is becoming an emerging exporter of produce. Because of the U.S. trade embargo that leaves Cuba short on machinery and fertilizers, farmers here have turned to organic agriculture. A lot of folks would love this job. Gauchos in southern Argentina and Chile work hard on horseback and use their helpful dogs to round up the cattle. Other jobs in Latin America involve creating their colorful textiles, like this woman in Otavalo, Ecuador.
Mayan women are some of the best textile weavers in Latin America. Colorful fibers are dyed using materials found in nature.
This man is a fifth-generation weaver. It takes him 12 hours to make 1 meter of fabric. Unfortunately, he competes with factories around the world that mass-produce cheaper fabric, which they sell at a substantially lower price. Many people make a living in other artistic jobs, like this talented painter. Artists are known to combine cultural and historical storytelling into their work. The job of these women is to make tortillas, a staple in cooking throughout Mexico and Central America for thousands of years. Everywhere you go, you hear the slapping sounds of women making tortillas.
Other jobs throughout Mexico and parts of South America are perhaps more uncommon, like the job of this matador. The Spanish conquistadors brought bullfighting here in the 1500s.
In a remote rainforest in the Amazon, this man's job is to hunt. Blowguns with poisoned darts are an ancestral technique used by indigenous people to hunt monkeys or small birds and animals. And in Rio, artisans work year-round making costumes and floats called wagons or lofts, all preparing for the wild events for Carnival, the greatest show in the world. It all happens at this enormous warehouse in Rio called Samba City. Each year, the Brazil Carnival Development creates a new theme. And each piece of the parade, including each costume, is created brand new each year from scratch. Millions of people come to Rio from around the world for Carnival. And over 2 million alone attend the big block party. As in many places around the world, Latin America practices a wide variety of religions and spiritual beliefs. From the massive cathedrals in the big cities to small churches in the mountains. Catholicism is by far the biggest religion, but its numbers are decreasing. Outside a church in Chichicastenango, Guatemala, are brightly painted mausoleums and crypts that are either owned and yours forever, or if you can't afford to buy one, you can rent one until your bones can be relocated. Some beliefs, called syncretism, combine Catholicism with native rituals and traditions. On the steps of this church, indigenous people at prayer swing incense and chant to honor their ancestors. Similarly, in Cuba, most of the people here practice Santeria, which combines Catholicism and native African beliefs developed by slaves. Wearing white means purity. They worship Santeria deities and they honor the dead. In Cuba, there is an active community of Jews. Those few who remained after Castro took power are able to worship openly again after almost 3 decades of religious restrictions. No customs or rituals are more fascinating than those that are alive and well in the rainforest of the Amazon.
For example, face painting has been a part of the cultural makeup of people in the Amazon since the beginning of time.
Men and women paint their faces for a number of reasons, from spiritual purposes to scaring off evil spirits to simple ornamentation. Sometimes they choose to mark their status, which identifies this elder in chief and who is the most powerful man in his village. Arguably, the most traditional clothing still worn today is by the Highland Maya of Guatemala, like this woman in Totonicapan. This woman in Santiago meticulously wraps a 20-foot red band of cloth dozens of times around her head to create her traditional headdress called a tocoyal. Women in particular are very faithful to tradition, and they take pride in the exceptional weaving skills that continue to create their colorful dress today. But don't leave out the men's own unique fashion. They've got their own thing going on, including these three guys. Wouldn't you love to know what they're talking about? Baseball is not just America's pastime. Baseball is a ritual and is huge in many countries in Latin America. Young boys try to polish their skills even if there's no ballpark to play in. They work hard in their drills and exercises. And who knows, maybe Major League Baseball awaits them. And many tribes in the Amazon still practice a wide variety of healing and cleansing ceremonies. This healer is named Bahuyu. His sacred headdress is made from vines, shells, and bird feathers. Shaman, medicine men, and healers alike will collect the bad energy and concentrate it in the leaves. Then they blow the bad spirits away. The cornerstone of Latin American society is the family, La Familia. And the family unit includes not only parents and children, but also extended family. It's common for households to include multiple generations of family members.
In most Latin American families, much like many regions around the world, the father is the head of the family.
And the mother is responsible for the home and the children.
Family ties are very strong, and often members within a family have a moral responsibility to help and support other members of the family, be it with financial problems, unemployment, poor health, and other life issues.
But changes in society had brought changes to the family.
And the size of the average family is shrinking.
But whether it's the expense of having lots of children, or whether young single people move to the city in search of work or a new life, or whether religious pressures to have more kids decreases, these are just some of the reasons that have impacted the desire for smaller families. And another reason is also clear. It's a fact that more educated women have significantly fewer children than those less educated. But regardless of their size, families are strong, vital, and central in Latin American society. There are many cultural and economic comparisons of countries throughout Latin America that are too easy to make. Most of the countries have experienced revolutions and civil wars and dictators and others that have affected the stability of the middle class. But after years of social and political unrest, Latin America today has adopted democracy. That's not to say that democracy will end corruption or solve pervasive immigration issues or automatically bring equality and peace. Not at all. But it aims to involve active participation from its people, including elections and the protection of human rights. Latin America's intrigue lies in its lost worlds and ancient cities, where time stands still and challenges your sense of place. Culturally, Latin America is blessed with fascinating ethnic identities that mix up a rich melting pot of captivating traditions and practices. And as I travel around Latin America, I particularly like to spend time in rural communities. I enjoy meeting diligent shopkeepers and industrious farmers, loving parents and beautiful children, all working and studying, just doing the everyday things that make up their everyday lives. They have the same values that guide everyone else in the world. Through faith and spirituality, and with responsibility, kindness, and love of family, as well as nature's family. The continent is working hard to balance the environment and its abundant natural reserves with human behavior. Its magnificent ecosystem also includes the world's most precious resources, including the planet's largest supply of fresh water. But when I think of Latin America's people and their history, challenges, and hardships, I also think of their amazingly cheerful and playful attitude. Perhaps it's the eclectic cultural fusion of its African, European, and indigenous heritage, or the years of colonization and slavery combined with native influences that have helped to form vivid expressions of pride and dignity. This extraordinary variety of traditions has shaped the vitality and the very essence of its people. And their regard for family and their affection for community is central to their character. So whether it's the friendliness and curiosity from the children, or the pure joy and kindness from the elders, it's simply impossible to ignore their playful rhythms and their euphoric, contagious spirit. Everyone, regardless of their economic status or personal background, has time to smile and to get up and dance at every age. Quite clearly, it's this uplifting, energetic passion that distinguishes the determination, shapes the individuality, and defines the very soul of the people of Latin America.